Hello and welcome to this fifth and final episode of the top 5 mistakes that users make when they first start using Illustrator. In this episode, we're going to be talking about layers. How do they work? Why should you use them in Illustrator? If you're not utilizing them, then maybe you should watch this video. Layers are really important for managing your artwork, and they are a great way to speed up your workflow and just manage to isolate certain parts of your artwork when you are working. So let's take a look at how layers work by diving right in. As you work on your Illustrator artwork, you may begin to build up more and more elements on your artboard. And as you do this, it can become a little bit complex. You might end up with quite a few elements overlapping each other. And that can get a little frustrating when you want to maybe edit one of those objects that's sitting behind other objects on the page. That's one instance where layers may become quite helpful for you. So generally when you start an artwork off, you'll start off with just layer 1, the default layer, but then it's a good idea to start building layers on top of one another as you go. It's up to you how many layers you'd like to use within an artwork. Everybody likes to work differently in Illustrator, but I'll generally end up with at least 2 to 3 layers on any given artwork. It's not like in Photoshop when you do need multiple layers in order to create effects. In Illustrator, you can get away with a lot less. It does make your workflow a lot easier though if you employ them. So an example here, we've got a banner which has been designed in Illustrator, and we have actually set it up so that you've got a background layer here and you've got the text sitting on its own layer above. And as you can see, I can just click on the little eye icon here to hide the elements on that text layer, and then on the background layer I can turn them off and on again. If I wanted to add additional layers, I can come down here and I can click on my Create New Layer button in order to add a new layer above whatever layer is currently selected. So let's just say I actually want to move an image from this background layer. You can see here when I try to select it, it's a bit tricky to try and grab it because I've got some text lying over the top of it along with some other graphic elements. So one way to enable me to grab that and then move it to the layer above is by coming up and clicking on the text layer to hide it temporarily. And that now allows me to come across and then select that image, and now I can move that image onto the layer above in order for it to sit in front of all the other elements on the page, which is what I want to do. And then if I come now to my layers panel, now you'll notice in the layers panel on that background layer, I've actually got this red square that's appeared at the end of the layer, and that actually indicates an object that is currently selected on the artboard. So what I can do is drag this little square here up onto the text layer above, and it will move the object on my artboard. It's as simple as that. Now I'll turn this text layer on by coming across and clicking on the little eye icon there, and you'll notice as I click and drag that and drop it, it becomes blue, and my object is now sitting in front of all objects so that I can now reposition it where I would like it to fit. So that's one advantage of using layers, that ability to be able to select objects that might be trapped behind other objects on the page and to move them in front or behind other elements within your artwork. So hopefully that explains some of the benefits that layers can bring to your artwork and how you can move objects between them. I look forward to seeing you in future Illustrator tutorials.